What is up? What is up? It's another week, another day for Digital Cypha. I'm your host, Ebonics, here with DOZ and the Don CJG. What's going on, guys?
Yo, how you
Good morning.
doing? How you doing?
What you guys been up to this week? I mean, I can say it's obvious, but come on.
I don't know. There was this game what came out. It was a small indie game. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called Cyberpunk. No, nothing big, nothing too big.
What? Oh, it must be. It was big to deal. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I've been pretty much hooked on Cyberpunk, and when I'm not actually allowed to play, I play on my Switch the Monster Sanctuary. Those have been my two big games this week. But it's mostly been Cyberpunk. I've been up since like 5 in the morning until the wee hours of the night.
Okay. But first and foremost, I want to formally thank Dio and the Don CJG, for last week's episode.
Oh, of course.
You guys, nailed it. And definitely, you guys did it well. Okay. I'm not bothered.
Big dog,
I'm not
Hey,
bothered.
we have to do you proud. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh. Yeah. So for those who are not here, I was at work. This whole situation with the pandemic and stuff. I work for a community college, and we had to, doing registration and stuff like that. So I was taken away from a Saturday to do this awesome work that pays my 9 to 5. Bills, I should say. So
Yep.
Dio and Don, manned it up last week. And do you guys remember what you talked about? Let me ask you guys that. I know it's kind of weird, but do you guys remember
Ooh.
what the topic was?
Man, it was a lot.
I remember talking mostly about Tetris, honestly.
Yes, it was a lot of Tetris.
Dude, I think
it was Tetris podcast episode. We
I
get
think-
specialized.
you guys were like fanboys of Tetris. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't go back to like the 1990s and talked about Game Boy and Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color.
At that point, it would have just been Dio on the podcast. I wasn't born yet. That was it.
Oh man. But the new Tetris of this week is Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Enough to say that we missed the video game awards. And I don't I give my mad props to Jeff Keighley for what he does, for the community of, well, the industry, those who create, those who do the music, those who produce, and everything, the video games that we love, right? But I can honestly say that, Cyberpunk just took the week. I've been on Cyberpunk. I forgot that it even existed, the show, up until Friday. So, um,
Yeah.
s- uh, so I'm gonna leave Dio for last because I think Dio has much to say. Don, you played Cyberpunk.
Yes.
Who did you choose? I guess I can say faction, if that's the right word of saying. Who did you choose, and what have you experienced so far on Cyberpunk?
I went for the street kid. I'm a city boy in real life, so I decided, I could rock with a street kid. I'm not really too far into the campaign, to be honest with you. I only recently, avoiding spoilers, of course. I only recently met Johnny Silverhand. He's in all the advertisements, so that's not really a spoiler for anybody. But yeah, there's a lot going on. I do like the game, to be fair. There's a lot going on. The game's very content rich. I
Oh
just
yeah.
think it's just there's if you spend any time on the internet this week, you've heard of the many bugs within Cyberpunk.
Mm, I tell you. But so you went you went for the street experience, I should say, and you've done mostly side quests, playing GTA pretty much.
Yeah.
What have you experienced just doing that without the story? I mean, how did that feel? Because the reason why I'm saying that, and I'm gonna let Dio do his thing. I think Dio has more context than I do, so I'm gonna talk and then I'll let Dio talk. But when you played mostly the side quests, it felt like you were doing a little bit of GTA, and for some reason, I feel that the game multiplayer may go that direction. Like you just like technically they can just kill the story, keep the side keep the side quests, and have like a whole bunch of people in there, right? Just
Yeah.
like video calling every 15 to 20 minutes, right? Unless you're in an actual side quest per multiplayer, right? um how was that experience, just not doing story? I mean, obviously you've been spending over 20 hours maybe just doing that, but are there any goods and bads, takeaways?
Oh man. You know what? I feel like the side quest is a kind of a good way to go through it right now. With Night City being so content rich and so dense, and there's so much to do, and there's everywhere you go, there's something going on, and it's been so cool to kind of go headfirst into that world and kind of not really worrying too much about the story so far. I'm just kind of taking my time to appreciate the world, because there's been no game that I've played. I know you can do a lot of comparison to GTA, but in this kind of big RPG world where there's so much going on, there's quests, objectives every corner you go around.
Mm-hmm.
You have so much opportunity to do like anything. Like I go down the street and I hear gunshots, like a couple yards away. I'm like, oh snap, what's going on over here? You know, I'm like, so I go over there. I help a cop down, and then next thing you know, there's a lot of other gang related things going on. And I'm inside a building. I'm hacking my way through and sneaking, and I'm on rooftops, and it's all crazy, man. There's so much going on.
Mm, mm. I agree. There's a lot going on. And one of the things that I have a problem with a lot going on is the inability to stop playing the game.
Yeah, right.
Let's just be real.
Yeah.
This is the first game that I've played that was so consistent. And consistent is not even a strong word. It's not even the right word to use. I guess progressive, or everything was just connecting back to back to back, to the point that I commend them for doing that, because it doesn't cause you to think about your actions to then think maybe I should restart the game. Right? That's one part.
Yeah.
But then on the other part, it's kind of like, I like, okay, did I save? Did I not save? If I need to go, where am I going to come out at? And it because it pushes you forward, not in a forceful, semi-forceful way. And I say semi because I felt as though I was going back and forth between story and side quests, and I felt that I was going fast, but not so fast as though I was lost. I was still in control of where I was going, but I felt that things were happening so fast that I don't know, was this still Act 1? Like that's
Yeah.
how I felt. That's how I felt. There were some issues in the game. I've come to like I spoke with Don, and what I was playing, and he switched over to 4K.
Okay.
I switched from performance to 4K, and I went back to performance. I'm not happy with the performance quality. Yeah, 60 frames looks great. I mean, it plays great. You're having that stability, but from 4K going down to 60 did not look pretty well.
Yeah, no, it's not. It is. It's not. Since I switched to quality mode, I've stuck on it. I've not gone back.
And when
Well,
I
I think that's also because this is technically still like last gen's game,
Yes.
right? We're still waiting for the next gen patch. Yeah.
Which is next year, right?
Correct.
Believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, now I probably will be staying on performance mode, because I've been getting stutters with the 4K, and I mean, like,
Yes.
like I would stop, and sometimes I would hear the music or people talking, but then it would go. The good thing is,
Yeah, your game's just like frozen.
yeah, but I mean, it's almost like a render, but you don't see the loading screen. You don't see the loading bar somewhere on the screen. It's supposed to say load, right? Maybe. But the good thing is that if it stops, it's not going to fast forward you way across the map if you were driving. It just keeps you going, where your last position was, which is pretty cool. So there are goods and bads. It's almost as though they knew that there was going to have some issues, and they prepared for it, based on what I see. But
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Dio, man of the hour, the man who could not get his hands off the controllers and say, "Yo, what's up? How you doing?" Sending multiple party invites to say, "Hey, how you feel about the game?" No, he was like, "This, I'm gonna wait until Saturday."
Oh, you guys did? I'm
and
sorry.
release as much vintage as possible. That deal.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was ignoring people. My bad.
How do you do, Dio? How you feeling today?
I'm good. My wife's been taking care of me. She's feeding me while I'm playing.
Bringing
me food.
Your wife got ignored, dude. She's like, yeah, he's behind this game. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down next to him and just put my head on his shoulder and just watch and fall asleep, because there's nothing else is gonna happen. Dio's been on this joint.
I've definitely been immersed. I definitely say that. But the more I play, there is a lot of bugs. Actually, my first playthrough stopped. If I had to guess, it was halfway through the game, narratively through the main story, and it wouldn't let me progress. Like, it would do an infinite load screen, so I had to start over.
Bro, you play too much.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only guessing, but it seemed like about like the halfway point, like narratively, like it just felt right.
Mm-hmm.
So and then with that one, I was a street kid. I really like the street kid intro, and it meshes very well. The second playthrough has been with corporate, and I'm not really a big fan, honestly, of the
Mm-hmm.
whole corporate side. And it's not because I don't like corporate compared to street kid. It's just that I don't think you get to be corporate long enough to
Right.
actually make it care that you're corporate. You know what I mean? I
I
think
I
like the
agree
street
with that.
kid felt very, very more detailed. You know, it just felt like you were a street kid. Where with the corporate, it just felt like, oh, I
Did
happen to be corporate. You know what I
did you
mean?
feel like it was you were rushed as a corporal?
Yeah, definitely. Like it almost felt like you were a street kid who became corporate, and then you went back to being a street kid. That's what it felt like to me. Because
Yeah,
how you,
I agree.
I don't want to make spoilers or anything like that, but that's just a
Interesting.
transition. You know
I
how it felt
agree.
to me.
I agree a lot. When I jumped in straight to corporal. I haven't changed to anybody else yet. I wanted to be as completely different than Dio and Don, right? So I felt like Don would go street, right, and Dio would go, the other way, straight
Nomad.
gangbanger or something, nomad or something. I don't know. Um, but I was like, let me just do this, and I was like, okay, cool, corporate. But then N- Dio, even in the beginning of your choice, it almost felt as though you were on your way out of that specific fraction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It didn't feel as though you had any form of legacy or any form of
didn't
story as a corporal, thing, dude.
I see where they were going. I just feel like they didn't give you enough time to invest the character into it. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
you didn't care about corp. You know, like it's almost I don't know. I'll say this before I even get into that. I don't know how you guys felt about the character creation, but I didn't really like it.
Mm.
Um, it wasn't terrible. There's definitely way worse character
Well,
creation models.
I have problems with character creations too. It's just about half the time you change an outfit, my character loses a hair. I get a
Yo,
random beard, what isn't mine.
yo,
I'm just like, where did this happen?
Yeah,
yo, I had partial dreads, and then when I put that old man cap on, I had long hair, like some
For real.
some what's it called? Cat Williams type hair.
Oh no, yeah, the perm, huh?
But yeah, I assumed from what I'd seen and heard online that it would character creation was gonna be a lot more in depth, and not like it wasn't in depth, but it didn't really seem that there was much, compared to a game like Skyrim or something like that, or Fallout. It just seemed a bit
I think
lacking.
they should take some notes from Pearl Abyss. You know,
Yes,
I,
like
I
yeah,
yeah.
like Desert Online. Yeah.
Yeah, they should take some because I was like, yo, my chest looks kind of flat, yo. Like I wanna look beefy. I wanna be a little bit tall,
Hmm.
stocky. So
Yeah.
Mm.
so if my character goes into multiplayer, I want to show my homies that I'm nothing to mess
You're a
with.
big boy.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I'm a corporal street nomad off the rip.
Yeah. It was pretty superficial, honestly. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't the worst, but I guess maybe we're spoiled from like MMOs and other like games too. But another thing was it just didn't feel natural, at least to me. Like using the triggers to turn the character around, I kept wanting
Yeah,
to use my
Yeah,
joysticks, and it
yeah,
just
right.
kept messing me around. Like
I feel like
stop.
that's the problem with a lot of the controls in this game as well. Even like getting in and out of vehicles just feels weird.
bro.
Yes.
You go
Yes.
in, you go in with X and you hold B to get out.
Right?
What?
And it screws in my mind. I don't get it.
Yeah. The drive. I mean, the driving's not the worst driving I've had in a game, but it's definitely not as good as Grand Theft Auto. It doesn't feel
Well,
as
it's better
natural.
than Watch Dogs 1, that's for sure.
Oh
But
my god, are we? Yo, this bashing of a game that we could not stop playing is unreal.
Well, this is the thing. Like the game itself is great. It's
oh
just
yeah,
it's just weird. This
you know what it is that it's like they do such a great job with like immersing you, right? Like you feel like you're literally V. Like they do such
yeah.
a good job with that. And usually
Hmm.
I have a problem. Like to tell you the truth, I never got into the Witcher games. Um, I never got too far. I never beat any of them. I got far enough where I was like, oh, I can see why people like it, but I never like loved it. But with this, I actually really like how they're telling the story, and I really like how they're immersing you. And I don't know if that's necessarily just because of the first person and being able to create your character as opposed to The Witcher, but I feel like they definitely build that sense of urgency, right? Because I don't, no spoilers, but with the story, like they do build the urgency, where you feel like you have to like get through it. But I think that's the main thing that they're relying on is it's the immersion. Because I mean, the driving's not great. The combat's not too bad. I actually am pretty impressed with their first person shooting. I expected their first person shooting to be a lot more clunkier. It's not the best, but it's not that bad, honestly. I mean, how do you feel about the first person shooting, Don?
Yeah, I think coming from a huge FPS background and playing a lot of Destiny 2, with the 60 frames an hour, it's a bit jarring coming into Cyberpunk, especially on the 30 FPS mode what I'm playing on. It is a bit. It does feel a bit clunky, but I can deal with it. It's a better job than I assumed it would be as a shooter, but I also gotta remember like, okay, this isn't Call of Duty. I gotta actually shoot these guys a fair bit before they actually start dropping. I mean, I'm just there shoot. I'm like, oh wait, this guy ain't dead yet. Whoopsie. I gotta go back. So I think from a gameplay perspective, it's a slight adjustment. But to be fair, they've done a lot better job with the mechanics of it than I assumed they would.
Oh yeah. Well, what kind of combat role did you pick, Ebonix? Like, what are you maining with your weapons and stuff?
I am rocking the katana and I'm sneaking around with my cool.
Okay. I kind of thought so. Go with ninja.
Yeah, but that's definitely Max.
And then I got owned. Right. So let me tell you this. So I went in. The whole time I've been doing my thing. And I was like, okay, I want to be sneaking around. So I increased my sneak ability. So hitting up the cool. I maxed out the beginning before you upgrade your cool.
Okay.
That's nothing, right? That's only like 4 slots, right?
Yeah, it's like level 6
out of 20.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, I want to be able to just do the progression, kill these slots out, then unlock some more, then kill them out, then unlock more. I'm thinking on that level, and lo and behold, I'm thinking, you playing this like real slow, like you better hurt yourself type vibe, So anyways, got invited to box, to do some boxing. Now, unlike Dio's working on his body. So he's applying some punch, right? I go in and my first opponent is twins.
Okay, yeah.
Dio knows what we're talking about.
Yep.
And so the twins are like, okay, so who am I fighting? You or you? And you fight both of us. So I was like, okay, cool. All right, this is just the beginning. I get to knock some people out, 2 for 1. Man, okay, so a guy with no body is like, it's like Frodo fighting Darth Maul or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has the ring, but that's all he has is the ring. If for every box he's gonna be taking out the ring and putting it back on. That's it, right? He can't punch. So I'm over here, I'm jabbing and dodging. One hit, oof. I am down, bro. One hit, I am down. I was like, man, why am I down? And then, okay, I gotta put my RPG hat on, right? So I press start, go to my character, and I have barely any weight, strength. You know what I'm saying, to do boxing. So this time around, I have to increase my stamina. I have to increase my strength. I have to, for the combos and stuff like that. So it's it's funny. It was funny. It was funny on that level. I must say that I agree with D that the game immerses you in the story by making you feel as though you're V instead of V being its own character in the game and you're just pushing him forward. Because when things happen to you, you actually feel it because you gotta do something. Either you go do revenge or you gotta, do this and that with some other people. You actually feel as though you want to do the things necessary to push V in the area of supremacy. That's where it comes to me as. the ultimate person in the game. Um, so yeah, I agree. It's awesome. It's awesome. Like I have to actually think because I played a lot of it, and I have more crazy moments than non-crazy moments. Like if you look at the screen now, well, like the screen where the guy with the lights and stuff,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that was a weird moment for me. That was weird because I'm thinking like I could have walked out on this, right? But it, this is still part of the story, and it just leads up to your ultimate this is the interlude. All this is interlude, right?
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and I was hoping that like, you know, we don't have to fight and we'd be able to, you know, make amends and such.
Yep. Make a deal.
Yeah, you can get out
That's
of that
another thing about the game.
completely
You don't
unscratched if you wanted to.
you don't know what you can change in the game. Like you don't know how you can change the narrative only until those decisions are shown up on screen. So like in this case, like you saw Jackie, he's posting up on the dude like, yo, I'm not sitting down. I don't want to sit down. You can't tell me to sit down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then you telling Jackie to cool down. So he cools down, he sits down, say, okay, cool. We got this. You know, we could walk out of this with nobody being hurt.
Mm.
No. Like I said, there are certain scenarios that you can't change in the game. But then you make certain things happen outside of those scenarios to make you a little better person or a better character as you play. But yeah, Dio played more than me, so he'd be able to emphasize on those for sure. Yeah, D.
Y- Yeah, I mean, with starting over, I definitely like try to like do some things differently to see if those choices do matter, and
Mhm.
they did a pretty good job with most of them. You do see a difference in variation in what your actions do. Even with side quests, which really surprised me. Honestly, a lot of the side quests are. I don't want to say that they're more interesting than the main quest because the main quest is good, but I would say there are definitely some side quests that are just as interesting. You know, which
Yes,
is really
definitely.
awesome.
So we can say that the side
Um,
quest kind of feels like story in of its own. Like
Yeah.
oh
you're
yeah.
not taken outside the story. It's almost all of them. It's like a web of stories, and
Hmm.
then like the center is like the cream of the crop, right?
Yeah. It kind of reminds. I think the idea with like I don't know when I was playing Skyrim back in the day, side quests always just felt kind of what's the point of doing this really? But with Cyberpunk, like I kind of look forward to doing these side quests because I know that they're fun and interesting, and it's like okay, there's something
Oh yeah.
of substance here. You know, I seek them out. I'm like okay, you know, I look at my journal and I haven't done any main stories. I've been doing side quests all day, and I'm like I'm actually enjoying this.
Cool,
Yeah. Plus the
cool.
benefit of actually getting street cred for doing most of them. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of weird because you sometimes you get street creds while doing the story, and you just so happen to see a fight, and on your transit from story to story, right? It's one story, but you have to go from one point A to point B, and then sometimes those street cred and environments mesh, so you start getting those experiences as well. I find that pretty cool, as well. Or sometimes you get street cred within the story, like as part of the story, which is pretty nice.
Oh yeah. Like I really like the street cred system. I thought it was gonna be a lot more generic than what it is. I like that you get it for even just like if you happen to see a bunch of like gangsters just hanging out on the side of the road or whatever, and
Mm.
you just like demolish them. And like
Mm-hmm.
I would almost equivalate that to like with Skyrim where you have like like the caves and stuff like that. You go in there to get like your loot. It's almost like that where it's like almost like a little instance, right, where you're like fighting these enemies so you can like find a chest somewhere, and it's not like obviously fantasy, but it's almost the same equivalent, which is pretty cool that they
Yeah, you're
found a way
rewarded
to
for doing it.
merge it in there.
Like, yeah, it's like you can kill these guys, get some loot, but also you're leveling yourself up at the same time.
Hmm.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So what else? What else have you guys been up to this week?
I played a bit of Destiny
Oh,
earlier on. To be fair,
oh,
I was.
how was the patch?
Oh my! Oh my! It honestly, I've never seen an update change a game so drastically. Like, it feels like a brand. It feels like a brand new experience. I can't even lie to you.
Bro, I jumped in a while. I think when the patch happened, I went in probably like the same day or the day after, and I was like, dude, there's so many dark and vivid colors in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I had to step back for a second. Like I was almost ready to just stop playing because I was like okay, I need to adjust my eyes and stuff because this is like
Yeah.
serious. I mean, it's dude, like your armor has like tones of green. If you have green, it's not just green. It's like different tones of green and light bounces off of that and it looks nice, you know? But then
Yeah.
the dark side of it is kind of like it's like ambient occlusion. You know what ambient occlusion is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
For
like
sure. For sure.
so it's like there are crevices in the armor that the shadows that shadows like if it wasn't there, you just see like dents that represent lines that separates the arm from the armor and stuff like that. But you actually
Yeah.
see like actual ambient occlusion in the game and ray tracing reflections and vivid colors. It's like, okay, I can't say I'm mind blown. I'm not mind blown, right? But I'm like, okay, I need to stop because my eyes needs to readjust because it's first person, and
Yeah.
and unlike Dawn, I have a problem adjusting on first person like Destiny. And it was kind of washed out before, and now it's all vivid and stuff. I started getting
Yeah.
headaches.
Yeah. Well, Destiny had a HDR problem prior to this update, where I don't know what I think it didn't launch with HDR features, and when they added it in, the original brightness slider basically affected how the HDR looked in your game. So there'd be
Bro.
parts where the colors in Destiny 2 pre this patch just looked ridiculous and you couldn't see anything. Like if you went into a dark cave, it was impossible to navigate. You just couldn't see. But I'm glad that this update's kind of fixed that to some degree.
It definitely looks good. I agree.
Yeah,
It looks awesome. I think I need to like wean myself in because if, like I said, first person, like Call of Duty, I can bear with Call of Duty because I'm not sure. I think it's more they would hit more frame rates than color quality, if you will.
yeah, I know
So
what you mean.
so I can play that, right? But when you have that much color and that
Yeah,
much you know
there's a lot going on in Destiny's sandbox when when you're playing or shooting or just rolling around. There's a lot of colors and things really coming at you.
ELD, you remember when you and I were playing Final Fantasy 14?
Oh, feel like
And
we lost you boys for a second there.
what, you lost me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
lost-
For just a quick
there.
second.
What? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay,
Yeah, we
cool.
got you.
Cool. Dio, you remember when we played Final Fantasy 14?
It doesn't want you to finish the sentence.
Yeah,
What?
they're not trying to get you bugs today.
Let me try. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
we
do.
got you.
Okay,
We
let me
got
try it again. Do you remember when we played
Okay.
Final Fantasy 14?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I have to put a pause in there somewhere. Just in case they muted me.
Maybe.
The internet gods are trying to mute.
They're trying to censor you, Miles. They don't want you to
I'm
say
saying nobody can talk bad about Final Fantasy 14. You remember how you felt about the dungeons and how colorful it was and how much it was for those special effects?
Yes.
Okay. That's how I felt about the upgrade. And it wasn't even special effects. It was just how much color was coming at me. Because
Okay.
if you're not used to 4K HDR UHD 60 frames per second and whatever else is behind that, you're gonna be like wow. You gotta like push your chair back from the screen for a second and be like, Wow.
Yeah, it's a very drastic change to what it was
It,
to what it is now.
now
Oh
that's
wow.
just me.
Okay.
That's just me. It might be different for you because, like, even though I have a 2060 Ti, right, my screens are not 4K. I have to buy an
Hmm.
actual 4K screen. I'm probably gonna get a widescreen, but um, even that of its own, it, bro, Cyberpunk on a 4K screen PC looks ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
um, anyways, done. So the patch came through.
Yes.
And what
Yes.
else? What
Gorgeous.
else?
Gorgeous. They got 60 FPS on there as well. They also dropped Halo Infinite news this week. At long
Oh
last.
yeah. Yep.
Oh boy, oh boy. The content drought is over. Man.
Stupid.
Literally, one thing, since the game got delayed in July, August, it's been basically silent the entire time,
Mhm.
and I spent a lot of kind of time within those Halo online circles and the forums, and they want messages like free for free to say something, anything at this point, to give information, and they've been teasing it. Okay, we got something coming the end of the year, and this was it. They gave us the release date or release window. I should probably say more accurately. End of next year, which is longer than I assumed it would
Is
be.
it end of next year? I thought it was. Is it fall? I thought it was fall.
Fall,
Yeah.
fall 2021.
Yep.
You said end
Fall
of next year.
2021.
It don't
Yeah.
say end of next year. It's not. That's not.
That's the end of next year.
But that kind of is
Isn't it?
the truth.
Yeah.
Uh,
Bonnie Ross, head of People Free, she kind of teased that I believe November 15th, 2021 is the 20th anniversary of Combat Evolved, the first Halo
Yeah.
game. So we could be looking probably release around that kind of week, I'd imagine.
I would like to see it come out in August or September, the
Mm.
beginning of fall. That's not the end.
Yeah. So I think we've got a good little time there. They said they're bringing back flighting, which is basically betas. So that'd be great.
Say
People
that
get
again.
hands on with the game. They're bringing back flighting program, which
Flight-
is
Is that with the Halo waypoint?
yes. So on
Okay.
Halo Waypoint, you kind of understand it's called Insider Flighting.
Right.
And they do it with Master Chief Collection right now, is where you kind of test builds of the game. It's kind of like a beta, but just for Halo Insiders, basically. So they're beginning to do that. I probably imagine that'll be summertime. And they showed a bunch of nice little graphics and all that. There's a lot of screenshots and information about the game, what's coming up, and
Nice.
it sounds to be really, really impressive. Even the few pictures we've seen, the game looks incredible.
I mean, if you have an itch to play the Master Chief before then, though, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but you could play as him in Fortnite now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I bought
downloaded.
it.
Is it
there you
is
go.
a purchase or I thought it was free?
Nah, it's a purchase.
How much is it?
For the skin itself, it's what they call 1,500 V-Bucks, which is like about like $10-15 just for the skin itself. But if you get like the whole package deal, like it's like about $20 or so. But he looks nice. They did a good job on him.
What's in the package?
So like you could come down with the Pelican when you're like free falling. You
Wow.
get
what's it, glider? Is that what it called?
yeah, your glider is like the actual Pelican. Obviously not scaled to size, but like it looks like it. They put a lot of detail into it, and you gotta get a little mini Warthog for an emote. You get the gravity hammer as your like pickaxe, which is awesome. It looks really good. Like they put a lot of detail in it. It looks really nice. And if you're playing it on the Xbox, when you win your first match, you get another like color to it, so you could play with like the black, like special ops, like Master Chief, where he's like black skin, which is pretty nice
That's
too.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw a cool screenshot on Twitter the other day, and someone they took a screenshot of their PS5 home screen, and it had Master Chief, the Fortnite skin, on their home screen. And I was like, yes, the takeover has begun.
Yeah. There's something about this that feels way more organic and awesome compared to Kratos. I mean, I like the Kratos skin. It was cool how they did it, but I mean, Master Chief, he shoots guns. Kratos doesn't, so that's why I love to see the Kratos, but it just I wish
not just say
they would
that.
have something else. You know what I
You
mean?
did not just say that. What?
You triggered him, Onyx. You've
No.
done it.
He has
Done it.
triggered the internet.
I don't care, man. Like, it's not my fault that Killzone sucked, man.
And he crosses over from Kratos to Killzone.
Done it.
Oh,
If Killzone was better, they would have had a character that could have properly
Mhm.
represented. You know what I mean?
true,
So,
true. But dang, dude. I mean, I know you're brutal, but I didn't expect it during a podcast. It has officially started. It has officially.
oh yeah, I
started.
mean, Kratos definitely looks awesome, but it just, I don't know. Like, I mean, Fortnite has a lot of characters like that just don't really make so much sense with guns and stuff like that. But it is what it is, right?
I feel like
So,
Master Chief's is such an iconic character within gaming itself. It's like, okay,
yeah,
Master Chief's in there. That's a big step.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
regardless of what anybody says, everybody, even their grandpa, knows what what Halo is.
Yeah.
I would say that because of the movies, because of the comics, because of the soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? The marketing. I mean, if
TV show what's still in development.
you know what, even if they don't know it, they've seen them. You know,
For sure.
so I think Microsoft has done an awesome job, you know, with that franchise, and it's interesting to see that franchise that Microsoft still owns is like the only franchise right now that is still beefy. You know what I'm saying? Even
Yeah.
even in its state of like story, like rewriting of the story and bringing something new to the table and everything else. Like the community is strong, the game is still strong. Like you talking about from CE up until like the upcoming, you know, Infinite, you know, Halo Wars, Spartan Assault.
Yeah.
Must we continue?
And it's only gonna get bigger, you know, with free to play multiplayer.
oh yeah.
You know, Chiefs and Fortnite. There's a lot of new eyes and people being introduced to Halo now.
I would
Game
not be
Pass as well.
surprised.
Like,
I wouldn't be
you know,
surprised to
game's
see
gonna be huge.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Halo introduced in something like Gears Tactics.
Yeah, I know they have some Halo Reach character skins in Gears of War 5
You know?
right now.
Yeah.
So
So
I mean,
there's a lot of crossover.
I think
I'm still waiting for Doom Guy and Master Chief. That's what I want.
for what? Doom Guy and Master Chief. for what?
crossover. Like
To
a
what?
crossover with Doom Guy and Master Chief somehow.
To what?
hmm
To Gears?
Anywhere, like, you know, because I mean they had the franchise, right? Like Microsoft, you know,
Yeah.
now we own it, so it's like, come on. I'm
Right, there
waiting
was a
for
lot
it.
of fan art online when that happened, the acquisition. Of like
Oh,
Doom
yeah.
Guy and Chief like fist pumping and whatnot.
Yeah, it's just so cool.
Yeah,
it would be
it
just so right.
It's great, man. It's
Oh
absolutely
man,
perfect.
Red versus Blue on Fortnite.
hmm
Oh man, that would have been awesome, man. Actually,
it's-
now that you
it's-
mention it,
it's happening.
really, Red versus
Yeah.
Blue, like the old like show.
Oh,
They're
no,
gonna have like,
They're having that on Fortnite. Yeah, they announced it during the game, the video game.
Yeah, I
release.
did see something about like Blood
oh,
Gulch.
that's
or
so
whatever.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was announced. But
Yeah.
but there's also since you guys like Cyberpunk, I mean this is more towards Dawn and all you racing cats out there.
Oh,
Cyberpunk
I know where this is going.
2077, you know, is it the Quadro car or whatever? Is
I
in,
don't know what the car's
f-
called, but I
is
saw it.
is Forza Horizon 4.
Yep.
What?
I
Yep.
would tell you guys this. I'm gonna tell you guys this, and this is to the community as well. Do not put the difficulty on skilled. That car is ridiculous.
No,
That,
really?
that
I'm not
car,
trying it yet.
that car is nasty. I'm not kidding you. You are not gonna get that. You're not gonna catch up to that car unless you're like an elite driving person in Forza Horizon.
Okay.
If you want
That's
that
pretty cool.
car, right, go to like the most novice you can do, because that car gives you chances, gives you chances to catch up. But if you're looking for the challenge, that car is fast. It has its acceleration and pickup speed is at 10.
Wow.
Dude, if your car sucks at pickup, it's gonna leave you behind straight up, no joke. So
Yeah, I've been meaning to go check that out and grab that.
yeah, if you're if you're jumping on, I got some engagements later today, but if you're jumping on today, I'll roll up with my Quadro, bro.
Oh yeah.
And it's nice. I haven't checked to see if I can modify it though. For my taste, it's a little grippy, right? I like a little bit of sliding on the street, so I'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
check on that. But yeah, man, it's in there. It looks nice. It feels nice. When you play the game, you got a little bit of cyberpunk music going on when you try to get the car. It's like it's all in there, just like the Halo joint.
Really?
Yeah, isn't it? It's nice. I think Dio should try it.
That was
Check
that was one
that
of
out.
the huge surprises from the Game Awards I saw. I was like, what? No way. I love how they're doing like so many little crossovers like this. You know, you got Chief in Fortnite, you got Cyberpunk Carter in Forza. You know, it's so cool.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's cool.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What about you, Don?
Man.
Dio, you've been on Cyberpunk, and I'm assuming when you got blocked progression wise on Cyber 2077, you went to Fortnite and you played some battle royale.
Yeah, I was playing some.
I've been stalking you, bro. Trying to jump into some stuff. Yes.
Yeah,
like-
I had to take a break, not because I wanted to, but because like the girls they've been doing good with school, so I was like, okay, I'll play some Fortnite with you guys, and I saw the Master Chief skin, got them some dances for their characters. You know, fun.
I'm telling
You
you,
know.
this. You cannot get Dio for your life, dude. Yeah, unless he knows you're trying to reach out to him, he's lost. He's in.
He's gone. He's just like,
Dude, if he had a nerve gear, he'd be in Ready Player One, and he would not be coming out. Period.
Oh no, for real. Oh, definitely not. Especially if you could actually make money on it like that. Like in no, there's definitely not. I'd be hunting.
Dude. But yeah, man. Surprisingly, Cyberpunk 2077 has stopped me from playing both Legion and Valhalla. Interestingly enough. And I'm looking towards jumping back into that game. I can only guess what multiplayer is going to look like, because if it's on this level of immersion, multiplayer is going to be crazy. I want to know how many people can play at the same time, and the cooperative stories that you can do together, because man,
dude, I'm excited for multiplayer. I'm also excited for the optimization patch, man. Like the game's pretty as it is, but seeing it even more so and playing it with friends at the same time would just be insane.
and it's not really the prettiness, it's like how compact everything is in the world.
Yeah.
If anything was next gen, it's how they've leveraged the ability to make something look real, to make something look like an actual city. I know last week you guys talked about how the garbage has its own lore or its own story.
So design.
Yeah. Because it's reusable, they're reusing the same material and objects that people are using when they drink and when they eat, whatever, and it goes in there. So it has a story. Like those trash has story. But
yeah.
But for them to go on that level to make everything as detailed as it is speaks volume for the future of next gen and beyond. So I commend them on that. Good job. Good job. Yo.
With multiplayer, I'd be curious as if would they actually have PvP or would it just be purely PvE? And if they did allow PvP, would you have your characters transfer over from the main story, or would it be a completely separate thing, like how you have in Grand Theft Auto Online, right?
So, I think this is me thinking it would be so good if they crossed PvP and PvE to the point that if you wanted to do story, you can do story. But if you wanted to be online and go against the rough of the online community, is there is no load time. You just go right in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would be cool. I'm not to say that it won't happen. It could happen, but it would be so cool if like, hey guys, I'm gonna do some story, and then you just walk into the bar, talk to the afterlife, and be like, yo, what's up? And continue your story, and then you just
Yeah, do your
transition.
thing.
You know what I'm saying? That would be cool. Now, to answer your question, D, it would be so nice if they did, because you took time to custom create your character.
Yep. That would be cool. But then it would be a balancing issue, right?
No, not really, because you custom created your character. That was it. There
No,
was
I'm talking
nothing.
about like for PvP,
Not
for
really.
balance.
Not really. Why would you say that?
Well, because right now it's balanced towards a single player experience, right? Like, like I'm playing a melee build right now. My first one was a shotgun build, but now that I'm playing a melee build, like I feel like a tank. Like no one does damage to me. How I have my character built. I just swing away my baseball bats and my hammers, and I get life back just doing that. So
Oh,
I would
wow.
imagine if I was doing that to somebody who had no idea what they were doing, or was a sneaky kind of person, like they would be so frustrated because they wouldn't be able to actually really kill me. You know what I mean?
Even so, even if I was your opposition, right? And I come in and I try to stealth kill you, and then I broke my katana in your neck, and you like, what? What was that? What? And you just dusted off metal, like, what the? You know what I'm saying? It sucks to be me. Let's just be real, because in other games, ESO, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, Blade and Soul, and all these other MMOs, right? You're building your character to be a tank anyway. You know what I'm saying? To take those blows and to become, a sponge for those hits. And then if you set up your class, or you set up your character right, you take blows and you give blows. And that's kind of like where you're trying to go with in this game. So it kind of sucks to be them, because everybody has access to it anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you have access to something that's not going to be in the game. In the multiplayer, if they put the same skill tree in the multiplayer, right, then it sucks to be me. And that means I gotta go and I gotta man up and apply those perks in those areas to just to you're kind of like the kingpin of your own little area. You know what I mean? And I can't if I see you, I know I gotta walk away. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta
I
deal
agree
with
with
somebody.
that.
Yeah.
I prefer that kind of game design as opposed to what most games do, but most games don't do that nowadays, right? Like ESO and World of Warcraft, like if you're a tank character, they find ways to nerf you to balance it for other classes. Like for ESO, for example, like if you're playing like a really tanky class that is relying on block to take like no damage, you can't regenerate stamina while you're holding block. That's their workaround, so to make sure that you can't just keep blocking forever and then like hitting back whenever you want. So there's definitely ways that they try to balance it. Like even World of Warcraft, if you're a tank character, you take like I think it's something like 30% extra damage if you're in a tank spec. Just to kind of like offset the damage. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind if they just left it alone how it is, but I don't foresee it just because of all the crybabies out there.
I think in the beginning, like, this is just me though, I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody, but if it were me, I would leave it alone to begin with, and then switch things up down the line. Because if Dio jumps on the map, right, he jumps from the 50-foot ledge and lands on a person, right, because he has the strength and power to do so. And then the whole community be like, yo, we need to be like D. So everybody just bulks up like D, right? Then as the game guy, I gotta be like, okay, we gotta switch things up now. And then that's gonna force everybody to like respec.
Yeah.
To do a respec. And then, because it could be story driven, like the multiplayer could be story driven to force people to think outside the box and apply their perks in different areas too.
Yes, I feel like you got to find a balance of
because you can't come in full tank in certain areas and then be softy in another area. It's
for
however
sure. You need to be like multifaceted. You can't just be like specialized as basically, and you be like, okay, but you need to make everything viable. I think that's the kind of key conclusion there.
But let's talk about the weapons. The weapons, I mean, we're coming up to the end, but we can talk about like they can apply certain weapons that attack tanks in a certain way to force the tanks to be a lot more tankier with other
Yeah.
objects that are not bodily related. Like ripped and stuff like that. A shield, I guess, whatever. Um, so one thing that I am very interested in, I'm not overly hyped. Well, I am looking at it, but I'm not overly hyped because it's still in development, right? It was announced in the Video Game Awards, and I'm gonna play this video now, and we're gonna spend the last few minutes just talking about it for a quick sec.
Okay.
I remember when everything changed. The floods, the storms, the fires, people dying in the streets. The corporations gave us solutions. A better world. And we welcomed them into our lives. But the laws of nature aren't meant to be broken. We need to know what they're hiding.
Cruel world.
Did you find the answers you were looking for, Agent Dark?
Not yet. This is just the beginning.
Okay, so Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Okay.
There it is. That's
Perfect Dark.
that's been something people have been asking for a while, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of speculation about Initiative's project was Perfect Dark, and yeah, there it is.
Thoughts?
I
Anybody?
think it's really great. I think it's really great that they're trying to bring back, old IPs. I mean, you had this, that's newer, but you had like Battletoads like a while ago, whether you liked it or not. I thought it was okay, not the greatest thing, but yeah, it's really good to see them branching out, reaching back to their, library. I would like to see some other old IPs come back, like,
Yes.
personally, Banjo-Kazooie. I mean, that was like my childhood on the 64,
Yeah, competing with Crash Bandicoot and all these other cats, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah. What I got away from that video, even though it was CG and it's not gameplay, right? I have a feeling that single player experience, if it is going to be single player experience, is going to be competing with a lot of people. And Ubisoft comes to mind when you look at the area. If it is what I think it is, as far as the areas and the lushness of places that is accessible, open worldness and stuff like that. You're talking about the best. Like Microsoft has hired the best of the best to create an original IP, but it's gonna have its own story. Almost, I wouldn't say like a remake, but a continuation, like almost like an origin story, but a continuation. Maybe I think that's what they were trying to allude to.
Okay.
And it excites me to see a studio taking on a challenge that certain publishers are known for, right? Outside of Microsoft, right? Like imagine like let's think about this for a second. I can look at Perfect Dark being equivalent to something as close to Assassin's Creed mixed with Splinter Cell, right? We can take a look at what Microsoft is doing with Smilegate Studio, I think it is, or Entertainment, and Remedy when it comes to Crossfire X, right? That's their first person competitive shooter game that has been slated for next year. XCOM versus Gears Tactics, right? And not to mention Wasteland, and things like that. It's like Microsoft and Xbox is looking at the different different platforms and generations, not generation, but genres, sorry, that they can tap into and bring their presence into. And it's like, I'm seeing it and I'm like, I don't know, man. What comes to mind, man?
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because I didn't really know much about Perfect Dark. I've seen tiny bit of it, the original ones.
That's
I
OG
played a bit of Banjo.
Xbox.
Yeah, for sure. I played a bit of Banjo, played a bit of Crash, and these are older games way past my generation. I think bringing back, an old series like this is good for like a newer generation. Say new, someone like me who's like, I've heard of these games, but I've never really dipped my toes in them, and I think it's good to kind of bring them back and put fresh life into them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, who knows what you're going to do with this game at this point. It's still early days. But knowing that it is coming and there's been so much talk and hype about this game, it is interesting to see that they have bring it back and what they're going to do with it. And I assume it's going to get Game Pass day one as well.
Yeah. Well, for me, I actually played the original on the 64 growing up as a kid, because this came out after GoldenEye. Like GoldenEye was like their original like shooter for Rare, and this was like its spiritual successor at the time. And it was a great game. I mean, obviously, me and my boys played more GoldenEye compared to Perfect Dark, but I would say back then it was almost like Halo. I mean, before Halo was even a thing, but it was, it had that sci-fi feel and it had stealth elements. It had the multiplayer, like where you could do co-op and like kill each other. So I would say, like, in a weird way, I think this is almost gonna be like competing more in like the Halo type of gameplay if they do it the right way, because it's gonna have that sci-fi feel to it. Depending on how advanced they go with the whole stealth mechanics, would be pretty interesting, because then it could go like that whole Splinter Cell route, like Bonks was saying. But it would definitely be like stealth from the first person, and you don't have too many of those games nowadays, and that could be really, really interesting if they do it the right way.
For sure. If they do go down that Splinter Cell route, there's kind of a gap in that kind of shooter stealth game at this point. Ghost Recon's kind of died down a lot. You don't really see a Splinter Cell game anymore. I think Blacklist was the last one they brought out, and people didn't really like that too much from what I remember. So I think there is a kind of gap there what they can fill.
Yeah, I think that could be like really, really successful if they do it the right way. And I'm sure it's gonna have multiplayer. I mean, the old ones did. They had co-op, like I said, co-op and death matches and stuff. So it was awesome. I remember even being able to, like, as nerdy as this is, play by yourself and like put like computer controlled bots in your death match. If you wanted to like brush up on your skills before you went to your friend's house to play.
Oh yeah, no. I used to do that in Halo 3 custom games, but I was just by myself shooting walls.
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I'm sick of the game.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for this. I think this is gonna be good, And Rare needs to like hit something out of the ballpark, because I mean, Sea of Thieves was cool, but I mean, I think they need something harder, even bigger than that.
Yeah, you need to make some more noise, Dio, so they can hear you.
Get on the social media, yo. Start adding them, tagging them in.
Yeah, I gotta get angry.
Angry D.
Picket fences.
and,
picket signs.
So just a little bit of news. So as of today, I could be wrong. Greedfall is available on Game Pass.
Greedfall.
Okay.
I heard it's a very immersive RPG game. I guess people kind of relate it to, if I can say, what's the name of that game? Dragon Age, but in a different way. I don't know, but I've heard good news about it. So that's available. And then what's the name of that one game? Yakuza 3, 4,
Oh yes, bunch
and
of Yakuza's
5
coming. Yes.
it should be available now.
And available next year. Flight Sim.
And Flight
Oh,
Sim.
yep.
Yeah,
Flight
ooh.
Sim. Yep.
Yep.
Flight Sim's
Yep.
coming.
So guys, that is it. Thank you for coming through. We talked a lot about Cyberpunk, like a whole bunch of fanboys. Crack.
I'll be getting on right after this.
Yeah, same. I'm ready to go.
It's a never-ending story. But again, we thank you for coming through. We thank you for following us, subscribing to us, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the social media as well as seeing us next week. So until then, happy gaming. Stay digital.
Peace.
See you next time.